No? Okay, cool. Sure. Sound check's good, right? Check mic 1, 2, 3. Sound check good. All right. All right, let's rock, man. Cool. All right, let's get rocking and rolling. Okay, so let's kick off this next episode, podcast, vlog. We normally do Wednesday, but I'm glad you can accommodate. Cool. And we're still on for next Wednesday too as well? Cool. All right, good. What's going on, everybody? Money Smart guy, Matt Sapaula here, hailing to you from the Money Smart Movement Team headquarters here in Oak Brook, Illinois. And I'm fired up here, shouting out from PHP Agency here in the Chicagoland area. We have multiple offices here in the area, and I'm just glad that we've just been enjoying some unusual Chicago weather. It normally isn't like this, very nice outside, but listen, I'm taking it, man. Nothing like this, nothing beats, or nothing's worse than negative 20 or 30 degree weather. My wife gets mad because I keep borrowing her leggings. I said, baby, got another pair? You keep stretching them out. But anyway, what's going on, everybody? So listen, today we're going to talk about an interesting topic. Speaking of weather, speaking of the summer, this is a very interesting topic that I definitely love to continue to reinforce. A couple weeks ago, my man Juan Maldonado came here, and as many of you know, Juan Maldonado came from the banking industry. He was a relationship banker at Chase, and he was talking about avoiding distractions. And he just last year, or a couple years ago, his twins were born, and he left the job. And to make a long story short, now as an entrepreneur, he's making more money on a weekly basis than he was making in the entire month as an employee, because he decided to take the steps of entrepreneurship. But this summer, and any summer, has its distractions. It has its a set of things that will cause you to half step. It'll cause you to doubt. It'll cause you to fear. Matter of fact, I was just reading rereading my mentor's book, Doing the Impossible. And here on page 25, it says, very rarely will you have friends who will completely support you for what you're doing, especially during the summer, because everybody's out barbecuing, at the beach, vacation, having a good time. So very rarely will you have friends that understand your journey as an entrepreneur. Very rarely will you have friends that understand your journey to become financially free and independent. And he says here in his book on page 25, one special person is worth more than 100 or than hundreds of acquaintances. A true best friend will build you up and believe in you. Lesser friends and even family members may not. Sometimes they are worried that they are being left behind, or perhaps they simply lack your belief. And believe it or not, this is where most people hesitate when pursuing their dreams. This season is when most people would hesitate pursuing their dreams. They will let criticism and doubts of others go to them, and then they give up. Listen, this season of summer is some of the most talented people, skilled, good public speakers, intelligent, smart, educated. This is when some of the most talented people will not pull through. This is when the money's on the line, when they've got to perform, when they have an opportunity to run circles around their competition and to actually start getting traction in their business, in their finances. This season, or parallels to it, is when people half-step. Some of the most good-natured, some of the most sincere people fall short of their goals right now. Over and over and over. We good with sound? Over and over and over, people will fail in this season. It's their inability to deploy this skill set. It's their inability to deploy this secret weapon. This secret weapon tends to hold people back. Or lack of using the secret weapon, or lack of this number one skill will hold people back. It causes people not having the skill, causes people to take longer at doing something than normal. Like they have a picture in their mind, like I'm going to get it done in 30 days, I'm going to get it done in 60 days, I'm going to get it done in a week. And yet, because of lack of deploying this number one skill set, especially during the summer, causes people to look up next week or look up next month and say, you know what, bam, I'm still in the same position. I'm still living paycheck to paycheck. I'm still broke. I'm still not where I want to be. If you doubt this, let's take a look real quick. Let's put up that chart of the finances, the bar graph there. If you doubt this, this is what is prevalent in most middle class homes. For people making 30, 40, 50,000 a year, 100,000, 150,000 dollars a year, this shocking stat will show you why people aren't using the skill set and why people aren't getting ahead financially. I know there's a little bit of delay. So is it up yet? So it's up. So take a look at this. It's since 1980. This is income growth in the United States. In the 1980, income growth in the United States has been stagnant at best. Okay, and this is based on research done by the Chicago booth. And this was shared with me by Business Insider a few weeks ago. So the 40% of middle income America have been stagnant. But yet if you go a couple bars to the right, the top 1%, man, they're growing in income. They're growing in their finances. They're succeeding financially. They're growing at their business enterprise. Right? And you say, well, Matt, because they're wealthier, they're rich. No, they're not. If you read Forbes magazine and you look at some of the top billionaires in America, a majority of them, yes, have inherited wealth. But a majority of them, a small minority have inherited wealth, but a majority of them are what? Self-made, team-made. Why? Because they're able to deploy this skill set, especially during the season. Okay? And so I also got, what inspired this too is not only reading books, but inspired this too was my mentor's video. I'm going to put up the video too as well that inspired this topic, which is 10 challenges of every entrepreneur that any entrepreneur will make. This is a video done by Patrick Bet-David on valuetainment. And I want to make sure that you guys see that. It was you check out this video too as well. You see that and you share it because I'm just talking about one of the issues. He talks about 10. I'm just talking about one of them. And so I want to break this down because I'm seeing it every day. I'm seeing it every week, especially now more than ever during the season where people are getting so distracted. Is that graphic up? It's up? Okay. The 10 challenges of every entrepreneur by Patrick Bet-David. Okay. That next graphic? Cool. So make sure you check out this video by him too as well. I want you guys to take a look at this video. It's the 10 challenges of an entrepreneur. And I'm just talking about one of them. And not only am I talking about one of the challenges, I'm going to be talking about a skill set that I hope that you can then utilize because everybody's got the skill set. They just don't use it enough. Okay? So, and speaking of the skill set, I was just in Miami. If you want to show the graphic of my breakfast meeting, I was just in Miami this past weekend. And talk about distractions, man. So 9:30 a.m. I'm at this breakfast meeting with our marketing directors. No, that the other one, the one with more people in it. So I was with our marketing directors in Oak Brook. I was going to come up here in a second. We're in Oak Brook, and no, the breakfast meeting. No, yeah, the other one. Yeah. Okay, let's just forget about it. It's too confusing. So let's just go back to the original picture I shared with her. Okay. So I was at breakfast meeting at 9:30 a.m. And then next you know, I'm on a flight. I'm headed to Miami, and we're in a dinner meeting at 9:30 p.m. Okay. And so let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that photo. There it is. There it is. With Brittany Pelaez and Tony Martinez and Carlos and Madeline. Awesome conversation with them, and I just sensed it. I'd sensed that this skill set had to be used at this meeting. Why, man? I tell you this, Miami is an amazing spot. I mean, Will Smith even created a song about it, and I just sensed these distractions coming this way. I sensed that if we walked another couple blocks to the west, that we're in a Brickell area in downtown Miami. I sensed that the parties would be there, and for me as an entrepreneur there in a business trip, I just sensed the distractions. And they're like, you want to go down there? And I said, absolutely not. They're just being gracious hosts. But I said, you know what? I'm not drinking any alcohol. I'm here on a business trip. I'm not looking for any distractions. I'm here to give value to you guys tonight, to give value guys tomorrow morning, and I want to be on my A game. And so I see this happening all the time, especially during the season. And I just want to give a couple quick shout outs to those who have just logged on and dropped in some comments. So what's going on? Irving Santiago, good to see you in Miami. Cindy Garabay Gonzalez, Irving Santiago again. Thank you guys for commenting and sharing. And so when I'm talking about using the skill set, it will help you avoid being confused. It will help you avoid frustration. It will help you avoid isolation. So let me get to it. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about the number one skill set to deploy during the summer is to process issues. So process issues. It's to process issues, and as you're processing issues, you're also simultaneously avoiding distractions. Because me and you have the same 24 hours in a day. Me and you probably at this point have a different level of intensity and focus. And believe me, coming out in the Marine Corps, I was distracted left and right. I felt like I was pent up. I wanted to enjoy the world. I just had this pent up energy, and I wanted to go out and just gallivant and have fun in Southern California. But listen, if I did that, I'd end up in a cycle where I'm continuing to be broken all over again. So how do you process issues? So I remember a conversation with Patrick stating that being able to master your business, being able to get ahead and be financially independent is 80% fundamentals, right? Fundamentals, like you got to work your business, you got to deploy work ethic, you got to increase your skill set, you got to increase your understanding of a topic or a problem that you're solving. You got to be the master of your craft. That's part of mastering your fundamentals of your business. You got to be tucking money away and investing money into things. And one of the things that my wife and I always had a challenge with, and we obviously overcame it because of the skill set, is that how do we continue to deploy money back into the business? Because when we first got started with PHP Agency, matter of fact, today it came up on our stories, by the way. Kavan, so I want to share that with my wife and I with the watches. So today in what do you call that? Facebook memories. It came up that to this day, 2.5 years ago, this picture came up of my wife and I with our $50,000 income watch. It took us 6-7 months to earn $50,000 of income in our business at PHP Agency. And I sit here today. My wife is licensed. Between the two, my wife is licensed. I'm the recruiter trainer. I take on an executive marketing role. And since then, we've got some business goals we've reached. We reached $100,000 of income since then. We've reached $250,000 of income since then. We get these watches. Excuse me, this not the watch, but the rings to display our success. And of course, there's a $500,000 income ring. And of course, we were the first to run $1 million business at PHP Agency. And our CEO, founder, Patrick David, since we're the first to do it at PHP Agency, he gave us a $30,000 Rolex watch. It's crazy. And that was just working hard. Why? Because for literally two and a half years, for 30 months, we've been 100% all in. 100% all in. I just told you I just went to Miami. You think I went to the typical Matt without using a skill set? I said, man, let me go in a day early. Let me stay a day late. Let me be distracted in the meantime. Let me go out there and party. South Beach. Listen, I went to Miami. I didn't even go to South Beach. Why? Because I was deploying the skill set. I was deploying the skill set because I want to be 100% on my game. So mastering your business, mastering your finances, 80% fundamentals in execution. Mastering your fundamentals. The other part, the other 20%, is processing issues, and that's personal leadership. That involves your own personal leadership. So you've got to be in a position where you deal with issues. Patrick says in his video, you've got to deal with issues you've never dealt before. You got to be prepared to use the skill set. Say, you know what, this thing just came out of nowhere, and because of the skill set, I'm able to deal with this issue. I'm able to process this issue. Something unusual just came my way. I've never dealt with this before in my life. The usual suspects, especially being married with kids, the usual suspects are the arguments with your wife, arguments with your spouse, your husband, kids' challenges at school, activities you got to be at. Kids forgot something in a project. Your wife wants you to do something. So how do you process those issues sooner and faster and quicker, so therefore you can get to the main thing and keeping the main thing the main thing. I'm going to give you 5 skill sets here in a few minutes, but I want to take a quick break here and just acknowledge those who are logged on with me too as well. So Irving Santiago, my Jamie, all the way, brother. Kendra, Joe Gillett, PHP Louisiana in the house. And of course, there's people here sharing. It's funny, how do I get the most common, comments? Not the most relevant, but anyway, I still have yet to figure this stuff out, because it's holding the most relevant comments instead of just streaming the comments, So I don't know how to do that. But for those of you watching live stream, I'm doing my very best to address your comments as they come in. So looks like Giovanni Perez, what's going on? Dallas in the house. Deanne Marcos is in. Ken Frampton is in the house too as well. All right, so Tina Persal in the house too as well. Glad you're part of the live stream. So for those of you watching, this is the number one skill set to deploy this summer. Processing your issues, processing your temptations, processing your distractions, right? What am I talking about? Let's talk about some of the issues. Let's talk about it. Let's brainstorm some issues. And if you think some issues yourself, please drop it in the comment section in the video. What are some of the distractions and issues you're facing this summer? Weddings, anniversaries, birthday parties. I remember an associate of mine that we're mentoring. He says, "Man, I really want to change my life. Man, I really want to change my life." And then like tears are coming down his eyes. And then a religious holiday comes around, and he's not around for 10 days. Right? A religious holiday comes around. I want to change my life, man, but a religious holiday comes around. He's gone for 10 days. And then he's out of town. And I doubt and highly question the actual desire for him to really want to change his financial life and actually run a business. See, by the way, one of my jobs as a coach is to tell the way things are. It's not always roses and tulips and daisies and rainbows. It's just by observation, because I've learned over time, and I think many of you have to learn over time, either yourself or the people you lead and mentor, that you've got to go on not what people say, but more importantly, what people do. So if they're facing a distraction, if they're facing a financial setback, and you give them coaching, guidance, and you're there as a friend, you're there as a coach, you're there as a mentor, and you're guiding through, or you're going through it yourself, I always think about is, listen, if I'm going through some stuff myself, do I really want to bother with this issue with my mentor? Right? Because I'm thinking to myself, what will my mentor do? What would somebody more successful than me do about this issue? What would somebody who has a proven record of success, what would they do in this circumstance? Would they sit and sulk about it? Would they, man, I need to take time off, right? And that's somebody told me one time, in order to process issues, you need to take time off. In my opinion, that's one of the worst pieces of advice. Why? Because if I'm sitting in my financial vehicle and I take time off, this problem is either still in my car or it's in the rearview mirror standing there. And if I don't process this issue by hitting the gas and moving my business vehicle or my financial vehicle forward, this issue is still in my rearview mirror, still very apparent and relevant. But the more I work, the more I hope to get lucky by working harder, this issue starts getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And here's the things with issues. You've got to be able to anticipate them, both the known and the unknown, right? So here's some issues from you guys. Family reunions, kids out of school. That's a big. Listen, here's what I told my kids. Listen, kids, if you don't have my wife and I have 4 kids. My 21-year-old he's got his own. He's out of the house. He's on his own now. But my 16-year-olds, they're going to be the next year in high school. And I told them, listen, sweetheart, if you don't have a job, I'm putting you in summer school. I don't care what you call it. I don't care what your friends say. I don't care if they call it nerd camp. I don't know if they call it, you're in jail, you're in academic prison. Listen, if you don't have a job, you will not be on my couch till 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and then sleeping until 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. At least if time is going to go on, you're going to get smarter. And then I put them in summer school. I put them in, or what they call nerd camp. I put them in nerd camp. And now I told them, listen, if you want things, now that you're at your age, you have to learn how to take responsibility. You have to learn how to process issues at your level. So if you want things from here going forward, if you want things, you have to prove to me and show to me how you're going to make money, right? You've got to get a job. All right? I was just telling my wife, I said, babe, listen, the kids asked me yesterday at 18 years old if joining me in business was an option. And I'm glad they asked. And I told them, yes, it's an option, but you definitely want to find your own way first. Why? Because I want you to learn how to process issues in the world with what daddy's taught you growing up. How many guys, like when you moved out of the house, whether you were 14 years old, 16 years old, 18 years old, or 21 years old, you finally moved out of your parents' house or on your own completely, and you realize how much the cost of toilet paper was. That you noticed how much the cost of food was. They started noticing how much the cost of electricity and air conditioning, gas. Yeah, because you started experiencing on your own. Because you never used that skill set of processing issues, of processing bills, of processing setbacks, of realizing that, man, I'm not really making a lot of money. And my issue now is I have to make more money if I want to live. I don't want to survive. I want to thrive. And so kids out of school is a big issue during the summer, right? And so, yeah, I wish I could stream more of your comments. So thank you guys for sharing. I think Wante Stewart just joined on board too as well. Thank you guys for sharing. And by the way, I want to mention that to you too as well. We've got a lot of books here still left over from the month. So if you guys share this, just like I did last month, I've got more books here. I think I got another 5 more books. But listen, we're going to pick two of you guys today. We're going to send this book to you guys. I just finished this book. This is Relentless. Okay, so this is a book we just finished here. Entrepreneur Book Club. We just finished this book, and we ordered a few more. So I have a few more to give away. So if you comment and share, we're going to pick a random winner. We're going to send you this book, Relentless. Last couple winners were Irving Santiago, Giovanni Mondragon, and we're going to pick 2 more today. The next book that I'm going to be reading here is this one. It's called The Millionaire Fast Lane. I just read the first couple chapters of it. Phenomenal book. It's by M.J. DeMarco. So I'm reading this book next. A fellow devil dog. He's a Cobra pilot. He's stationed right now out in Hawaii. He just sent me his book, so I just want to give a quick shout out to Tyler Pensek, who is currently a Marine pilot out in Hawaii. He wrote this book, rough upbringing, and now living his dream as a Cobra pilot, flying Cobras in the Marine Corps. And the name of the book is Real Life School. And so I'm going to be putting this on my blog and on my Instagram here pretty soon. But I just want you guys to know about it because you can get it on Amazon. So check these books out. By the way, I love reading books. You guys love to read books. I love to read books. Why? Because I can peek into somebody's wisdom of 10, 15, 20 years. And I can capture the wisdom over a 2-3 week period. But as I consume their content, as I consume their wisdom, I get to see how they process issues. I get to see how they master this skill set. So, all right. So thank you, Thomas Carindros, sharing. Irving shared again. Giovanna shared and liked. Appreciate you guys. So, issues we're facing this summer. Back to these issues. I had another guy contact me today. Actually, it was yesterday. He was talking about, Matt, listen, I want to expand my business. I want to grow my business, man, but he's financially panicking. He says, I got to pay my personal bills and I got to pay my business bills. And so it's great. So you've got an issue. So how are you going to process this issue? Right? You can feed into your fear, like, oh my gosh, I don't have enough money to pay my bills, and I'm growing my I think he's got like a camera, he's like an outdoors type of business. And he's having a hard time paying his personal bills. He says, Matt, I got to pay my mortgage and I got to pay my staff. I don't know we're going to do it. So the second portion of that, okay, what financial resources do you have? So he's defaulting into fear. And this is not the first time he's hit me up about an issue, because about 6 months ago he was hitting me up with a similar issue. Again, it's about money, but not having enough money. Listen, back to that original graph. Most people in middle income America, because of their lack and ability of mastering the skill of processing issues, stay in the middle class. But those who can process issues start increasing their cash flow. They start getting money on the mind. They start learning how to do these things. We just showed you, my wife and I, 30 months ago with our watch awarded by Patrick Bet-David. Since then, in 30 months, we've gotten these rings. Why? Because we learned how to process issues. We start learning how to run circles around people. We started realizing that, man, you know what? The same habits that we had as great employees, good employees, or whatever employee you were, it's not going to correlate and translate 100% into business. Why? Because the habit of summers off and holiday weekends, and by the way, this is going to be another distraction here this weekend. If summer wasn't enough of a distraction, guess what's going on this weekend? It's the 4th of July weekend, right? And here's what I realized about holidays and weekends. What I realized as an entrepreneur, if I took a step back, what I realized is that, you know what? Most people travel during weekends. Most people are on the road and traveling during the summer. And the forces that be, transportation, airlines, oil, resorts, the tourism industry, they know that. And because they know that, they key on that. And just with supply and demand, when more people are demanding travel, when more people are demanding hotels and resorts, et cetera, right? If more people are demanding it and supply is low, guess what happens to the supply? They increase their cost because it filters people out. That's how they process their issues. So, you know what I realized that, you know what, if most people are traveling during the summer, if most people are taking off on holidays and the Mondays that are holidays, guess what I'm not going to do? I'm going to do opposite. That's how I process my issues. And you know what? That's living money smart. You know why? Because guess what? When you fly and travel off season or off peak, things are cheaper. You're able to not spend as much money. You're able to save it and reinvest it back into your business. Save it and reinvest it into things that give you a higher rate of return rather than hanging out at the 0.01% bank account. So the weddings and the vacations and the religious holidays, the 4th of July. Speaking of 4th of July, will you allow financial freedom to ring this year for you? Will you? This summer? I hope so. Because if not, it's because you haven't mastered the skill set yet. You're still too worried about what other people are doing and going with the flow. And I want you to know that if you want to have what they call, the fancy word is economic mobility, it means you're going from the middle class to the affluent to the rich, rich to the wealthy. If you're going to have economic mobility, you got to reconsider what you're doing on evenings and weekends, and especially summer, by processing issues. So I'll give you 5 tips here on processing issues, right? How do you solve for X? So if you're going through some stuff, when you know what hits the fan, how do you solve for X? How do you process issues? How do you still go through it, not let it derail you, and allow you to continue to accomplish what you set out to accomplish, right? Because these 5 things, say for example, Matt, I want to get promoted this week. I want to start a business this summer. I want to be at a certain financial goal here in the next 30, 60, 90 days, the next year or two. And speaking of savings goals, it just shocks my mind. There's a report by Fidelity Investments. And by the way, Fidelity Investments is on the first floor of our building. We pass them up every time we come to our office. And there's a report by Fidelity Investments that says the average 401k in America today, is between $80,000 and $100,000. It's between $80,000 and $100,000. This is a retirement plan. I'm not talking about an emergency fund. I'm talking about a down payment for a house. I'm not talking about for you to buy your dream car. I'm talking about retirement. I'm talking about you being financially independent and free for the rest of your life until they bury you into the ground. And the average savings in 401k plan today, according to Fidelity Investments, $80,000 to $100,000. Are you kidding me? And these are baby boomers. I'm not talking about people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s. I'm talking people in their 50s. That the average person right now is so far behind in retirement. So why? Because think about how they process issues when you go from job to job. You get laid off. I just got a text message from a buddy of mine. He's a Chicago cop. A CPS was his wife's employer. No longer there at CPS, at Chicago Public Schools, as a teacher. Why? Because the Chicago Public School system is so bad at paying their bills. The state of Illinois still hasn't passed the budget yet. So bad at paying their bills. Businesses, like I was just talking yesterday, a person to open up a daycare, which is funded by the state. They can't even get a person to drop off their kid and have a voucher, so therefore they can have a daycare, which is funded by the state. Section 8 housing, real estate investors. They're not getting paid their rent checks, and guess who has to pay the mortgage in the meantime? The real estate investors. So many things are happening to people financially. They're getting hit left and right. How do you process issues? How do you still get what you want? Okay? So number one, when you go, I think somebody said, a famous saying says, if you're going through hell, don't stop and take pictures, right? So number one, be big picture focused. Okay, you got to be big picture focused, right? Don't let short-term setbacks derail you from your goal. Somebody quits on you. There's a client that cancels their contract. There's somebody that owed you money, right? There's somebody that was promising you business. There's somebody promising you a job in the next week or two, a month, and you are not getting it. Don't let that temporary situation derail you. You're not at a certain promotion level. You're not at a certain goal. Your business hasn't grown where you want it to be. What are you going to do? Beat yourself up? Listen, you got to be the number one fan. You got to love yourself the most in that process. You got to stay what? Big picture focused. Keep your eyes on the prize. You know, every great champion sometimes loses. That doesn't mean they failed. Right? I remember growing up during the Jordan era. I remember so many times that Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time, failed many times. He lost many times. He lost a lot of championship games by the time he got to winning championship games. I remember growing up during the era of when they were playing the Boston Celtics, when they're playing the Detroit. Remember the Bad Boys? Playing the Bad Boys, man. Lane Beer, and then Dennis Rodman. Right? They were keeping them from getting to the next level. Dennis Rodman changed a couple teams, and he ended up on the Bulls. Right? So don't let your short-term setbacks derail you from your goal. So you know what? I'm dealing with this situation right now. Babe, sweetheart, what can we do right now? Take a breath. You just got hit with some shocking news. Okay? Does it mean that you pull out your hair and say, oh my gosh, you know, the sky's fallen, my world is done? No, it's not. It's a temporary situation. We have a tendency to overreact because we get too emotional about it. If anything you learn from the relentless is that champions, cleaners, what he calls not just a closer, but a cleaner, is a step above a closer, they're less emotional going through stuff. Right? So can you be less emotional going through your circumstance? So number one, big picture focus. Number two, forgive quickly. Forgive quickly. This means with the arguments you have with your spouse, arguments with your business partners, disagreements with the people that you're in business in, your team, people that are doubting you, people that are acting a fool, people that are trolling you on the internet. You got to forgive quickly and then pay them no mind. You got to give the doubters, the naysayers, the fools, don't give them any energy. You know why? It's like if you give them any energy, they're like gremlins. You guys remember Gremlins back in the day? The Gremlins back in the day was a movie. Gremlins. Gremlins. Those of you who are Gen X, let me know if you remember that movie. What was the Gremlins? How did they multiply? You guys remember that? How did the Gremlins multiply? They multiply. What was the Gremlin's name? Gizmo. How did Gizmo morph into something evil? And he started spinning off evil children. Right? It was this Stripe. It was Gizmo and Stripe. You taking me back, bro.
I know the name. So.
You know, Kevon knows the name. Right? That's right, Wante Stewart. It was water. As soon as he poured water on the gremlin, on Stripe, boom, many stripes appeared. See, when you give energy and water to a naysayer, a doubter, somebody that's acting a fool, somebody that's not supporting you in business, somebody that's actually coming against you in business, a family member, somebody close to you, don't pay them any mind, right? Don't give them any water because you know what's going to happen? It's just going to multiply, right? The third thing about processing issues, okay? Jennifer Jones says, don't feed them after midnight and keep them away from She's definitely a Gen Xer, Jennifer Jung, right? Let's see here. Fourth one. If you're mastering this number one skill set, avoid the blame game. Okay? Don't say, oh, because somebody did this or this circumstance here. If only I did this. If only traffic wasn't here. If I had more money. Listen, what you're doing is you're becoming a victim, and victims don't win. Matter of fact, those are going through a situation. If you want to win, to become a victor, you got to be able to process these issues. So number one, stay big picture focused. Number two, forgive quickly. And number three, avoid the blame game. You got to avoid the blame game. Take 100% responsibility for your situation. If you're not at where you want to be in your business, take 100% responsibility. Do what you can do. Control what you control. If you can't control certain things, right? Listen, control what you control and leave the rest to God. Leave the rest to your team. Leave the rest for people, but you focus on what you can control. Right? I tell all the guys all the time, listen, people, when you're building a business, when you hire, sometimes you got to fire. When you recruit, sometimes you got to let people go. Why? Because people just don't fit on your bus. What do you think the NFL and the NBA just did in the last 2 months? They drafted rookies. Right? The NBA, they drafted. The NFL, I know they have 7 rounds to draft. So in other words, every year they're bringing in new players. They're bringing in free agents. They're having people come in on a trial basis. Why? Because they have scouts out there looking for talent. So if you're building a team, you're building a business, you want the most talented people working in your business, working with you, you got to go out there and be a good scout for talent. I was talking to another entrepreneur, says, Matt, it seems like every day it's always a hunt. I'm hunting every day, I'm hunting every day, I'm hunting every day. Hello, that's business. How are you processing that issue? Why aren't you taking 100% responsibility for that? That's how you grow a business. That's called business development. It is a hunt every day. What would you rather do? Settle? Settle for a $70,000, $80,000 a year job? You know you're not going to be happy with that. And I'm talking to the guy. I'm saying, dude, aren't you making $130,000 a year, $150,000 a year? It's a hunt every day. Great. What do you want to do? Give up? Go back to your job. She says, I ain't going back to my job. Well, there it is. It's either you settle for your situation and get overran by the issue that you cannot process, or number 2, take 100% responsibility for a situation, process that issue, get over it quickly, and make the most of it. And when I realized that, listen, I did not get ahead in my business, in my financial dilemmas, if I just put it under the rug. If I put it under the rug, if I deferred it. That's not the way to do it. What happens in business, 2 things really usually happen in business. Number one, you learn to find God. Oh Lord, Jesus help me. Jesus, take the wheel. Yes, you will find the Lord. Where's my next client, Lord? Lord God, how do I find the money to pay the bills? Listen, if you're asking like that as a victim, right, you're going to get very little help, even especially from Him. But if you say, listen, I'm going to take responsibility. Let's say you say, hey, man, what do the believers say? Greater He that is in me that is in the Lord, that is in the world. Right? I can do all things. Right? I can do all things through Him that strengthens me. Right? Where do you draw your strength from? And that's what you realize as an entrepreneur. That's what you realize as a person going out there and processing issues, that you got to be attached to something greater than you. You got to be around people that's been through issues that can reach up and pull you out. Not that you're complaining with them all the time, but you're providing value because you're taking 100% responsibility for your situation. 4th thing, have a short list. What am I talking about? Have a short list of people that can help you. Right? As Patrick had mentioned in his book, there's very few people that you can call friend. I like to have a short list also, not only of friends, but also technicians. What do I call technicians? So if I'm facing something that I need to take somebody to court, if I'm dealing in business, a patent issue, right now we're going through copywriting and all that stuff, right? I'm going through an issue because somebody wants to use our name, right? So I'm going through a patent issue. So what do? I go find the best patent attorney here in Chicago to copyright our stuff, right? And so I don't worry about that stuff. I have a short list of people that can handle my problems. My attorney with a real estate issue, because we're going to expand our building right now. They're dealing with a strike with the union, and it's going to potentially delay our stuff. So I hire the best attorney to make sure that doesn't happen, or we get favorable compensation to make sure that if we have to delay our move into our next office in a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, we get compensated for it. I don't have to deal with that issue, right? Tax. I remember having to build a business and run and see clients and recruit people and build a team. Listen, who can take care of my taxes? Boom, take care of the taxes. Get it done. I don't have to worry about doing it. Well, you know what people say? Well, Matt, if you did it yourself, you'd save money. But you know what? I want to save more than money. I want to save my time, because I'm starting to value my time more than I do my money. Because if I invest more to find more ways I can get time and get my life back, I can definitely multiply and get more money. Right? So I had to change my thinking. So a short list of people that can help you do certain things. I remember when I was a single father. I was a single father for 12 years. I had my son. daycare, pickup, summer camp, after school activities. I was still running a business. So thankfully, I hired a nanny. It was part of my budget. It was part of my expenses that I had to hire a nanny to feed my son, take him to his mixed martial arts, and he became the #2 kickboxing champion as a 9-year-old, and to bring him back home when he's done. And I was able to meet him at the home. So it helped out. Find people that can help you do certain things. And you just focus on growing your business. You focus on increasing your finances. The last thing I want to share with you guys, and I love this last thing, because here's the last thing, is that when I was going through some issues, some hurt more than others. And when I was going through the issues, I was saying, you know what, man, this sucks. This is really difficult. I don't know who to help, and I felt helpless. And I remember somebody telling me, Matt, things happen for you, they don't happen to you. Things happen for you, they don't happen to you. So when I'm talking about embrace opportunity, I'm talking about this is an opportunity, a great opportunity for you to embrace the moment and say, you know what? What can I learn from this situation? What was I supposed to be doing that I was procrastinating on doing already that I have to get done now, right? And next thing you know, I started seeing the upside in the downside, right? I started seeing the silver lining in things. And guess who I found? Guess who I discovered? I discovered the next best version of me. I discovered that, wow, I have more skill and capacity than I thought I had. And people are looking at me like, oh man, you can do this, you can do it. Listen, everybody's got it. Just not everybody uses it. You have that ability. I'm talking about you watching this right now. You have the ability to process issues faster. Am I saying don't go to the wedding? Am I saying don't go to the barbecue? Am I saying don't go to the family reunion? Of course not. I'm just saying don't spend all week there. Just don't take 3 weeks to process an issue. Just don't take a whole month to recover from your setback because you've been burying your head in the ground. I'm saying find a way to quickly get over it. And I want you to know something. When my wife and I got married, 2/21/2015. We wanted success bad. We wanted to be able to process. We want to be able to process getting married quickly. All right. And I said, babe, listen. I know you're marrying a guy that is on the down end right now, and I know that there's a lot of things I can do, and there's a lot of things I'm capable of doing. I just need you to believe in me right now, but I just don't have the financial resources right now to give you the wedding, the $50,000 budget, $100,000 budget, to give you the wedding that you've been dreaming of since you were 4 or 5 years old. She goes, babe, stop it. Says what? I want to invest more in our marriage rather than the wedding. I don't want to worry about putting all this money to one day. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. And I'm looking at this. So what I thought was an issue, I was processing it, I was communicating, I was embracing, I was attacking, I was taking responsibility for it. Come to find out my wife didn't want to go on a honeymoon. And come to find out, based on our success, we qualified for an all expenses paid trip to Dubai 6 months later. And winning and traveling on the company dime to get hired as speakers, to get hired as trainers in other cities and states and countries. That became our victory, because things don't happen to you, they happen for you. And that morning of our wedding, it was an awesome experience, because that morning we're just launching our company, and we're doing a Saturday morning. We got married on a Saturday, and we're launching our company, and it's like the first week or two of launching our company, and I remember we had to do a workshop, and I looked at her and said, babe, listen, you go do your girl stuff. You go do your bride stuff with your sisters and your friends from out of town, do your makeup and get your hair done and look all pretty and do all this stuff. But me, I'm going to hang behind because I got to run the workshop. We're getting married at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And what am I doing in the morning? I'm taking 100% responsibility of processing the issue of not being where I want to be financially, doing the very best that I can. I could have gotten drunk with my groomsmen. I could have gotten loaded. I could have done that the night before and all that stuff. But you know what I was thinking about? I was thinking about the big picture. I was thinking about the short-term drunken experience. I was thinking about, you know what? I want to prepare for the best of the rest of my life and to provide for my wife, provide an opportunity for my life for us to have the best that life has to offer. And since then, last 30 months, as a business, I think we've been paid over $1.3 million. We're building a multi-million, seven-figure business. We've been traveling. We traveled to Dubai. We traveled to Costa Rica, and all expenses, all-inclusive paid trip. We went to Puerto Vallarta, stayed in a private villa. We stayed at Ohika Castle, where in Long Island, New York, the 110,000 square feet home, which The Great Gatsby was the home of inspiration for Scott Fitzgerald when he wrote the book, The Great Gatsby. We've been able to be in mastermind and retreats and mentorship conversations with people that are pulling us up to the next level. You know why? Because we refused to give vocality to our issues. We refused to give any energy to the problems we were facing. And there's a whole ton of stuff that we've been dealing with the last 30 months. Am I even going to air this? No need to. You know why? Because we've overcome it. The problems in our lives became so small and minute. Why? Because we decided to hit the gas in our financial vehicle, in our business vehicle, which is called entrepreneurship, which is called capitalism, and think nothing else of it. Because all we can do is all we can do. And all we can do is all we can do. So let me check here on the comment section here for some of you guys. If you have any questions about processing issues and getting to the next level of your career, your business, looks like Nina Bassnight goes boom. Sierra Sherrod, got you. Nice to see you join us, Sierra Sherrod. Yes, Matt. What's going on, Nina Bassnight? Where else can? By the way, I appreciate all the shares on this as well. Appreciate you guys sharing this. So Philip Ortiz is on. Deanne Marcos is on. Deanne, look forward to you guys crushing it this week during your Wednesday night workshop here and having a great closeout week. You've been a great bright light to the Richard Love team. So Mike Jaros, Mike from Rockdale, what's going on there? But listen, with that being said, guys, thank you for watching this live stream video. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you like our page if you're on Facebook. Make sure you drop your questions. And after the stream, I have a habit of going back to some of the comments and answering some of your questions, because I know everybody's going through something. I know everybody's going through some issue or one another. So Mark Elkill, what's going on? Mark Elkill from East Coast. What's going on? He just retired from the Army. Glad to see you as a veteran entrepreneur. Listen, guys, I want to share with you something. What changed my life was not only being able to process issues, but somebody said, Matt, in 1998, start tucking your money away. $150 a month is all I could do. And because I decided to focus on a skill set of processing issues, I've had a lot of them. And thankfully, I'm knocking on wood. And I've had financial issues. I've had marital issues. I've had kid issues. And I've been a champion every time. I've won every situation. Okay? And I remember my first policy. They said, Matt, get a policy. I got a policy for $150 a month. And then once I started focusing on income, I just want to share with you guys this. I keep it in my office. My wife and I started tucking some money away. And we started putting our money away and setting money aside. And these are all of our cases. These are all our policies. This is not for our clients. This is the stuff that I own. Right? I own this stuff. I've been tucking my way inside this policy. My kids' policies are here. My wife's policies are here. We have an estate plan, right? So we've built a trust for our kids. I think Richard Love just told me I just got approved for another $4 million life insurance policy. So listen, the more you've processed issues, the more you can make money, and the more you can make money work for you. Okay? The more you process issues, the more you can further make money sooner, quicker, and faster, and the more money you can tuck away. Okay? And so with that being said, guys, thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. And by the way, thank you for reminding me, Kavan. If you want to get around people that want to know more, do more, and have more, I want to encourage you to consider investing in you. And what am I talking about? Kavan's going to put it on the screen here. We have an annual convention in Las Vegas. It's going to be August 16th to the 19th in Caesar's Palace. I'm about to say Little Caesars. It's going to be at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas, August 16th through the 19th. This is investing in you. You want to learn how to process issues? You got to surround yourself with people that are learning how to process issues. You got to surround yourself with people who are thinking of a championship mentality. They're thinking about how to dominate and conquer and be the very best that they can be. They become the best version of them. And is it back up there? Keep it back up. We got Coach Calipari from Kentucky. He's our guest speaker. We've got Wayne Gretzky talking about how to dominate. Right? The difference between number 1 and number 2 in hockey between Wayne Gretzky and number 2 is a 40% difference. How did he dominate? Of course, we've got some great entertainment. No, it's not Blue Man Group. We've got Maz Jobrani. He's a comedian. He's got a great comedy on Netflix. It's called I'm Not a Terrorist, but I Play One on TV. Guy's hilarious. Persian comedian. And then we got Frederick Da Silva, who is an illusionist and a mentalist, who's our entertainment. And listen, I've been through a lot of conferences in my entire 19-year career as an entrepreneur. I've been through a lot of conferences. And I will tell you this right now. There's so much value in this conference. You'd normally pay $2,000, $3,000 individually and combined if you saw these guys individually. But our convention, if you register today, I think you can get the ticket for like $275. Sure, you got to get out to Las Vegas. Sure, you got to put yourself up in the Caesars Palace. But the ticket is $275. And what a package, what a deal. To learn how to build a business, become an entrepreneur in the financial industry, to be an entrepreneur in the insurance industry, and in one of the greatest movements right now, transformations, because we're taking a dinosaur industry and make it fresh, relevant, and fun to be in again. That's what we're doing as PHP Agency. You get to surround yourself with people. They're fired up. They're excited. Somebody says, Matt, should I get involved in real estate? I said, listen, if you knew what the insurance industry would do for you, you'd be shocked. You're not waiting for 30, 60, 90 days to get paid in real estate. You're getting paid in 1 or 2 weeks. And the impact that you do for people. I remember when I was an insurance agent for 14 years, I was a licensed producer and advisor. I remember delivering my first death benefit check. It changed my whole career, changed my whole perspective. And the impact I did for that family when her parents passed away. Listen, I fell in love with the insurance industry back in 1998. I definitely fell in love a lot deeper when I delivered a $500,000 check and a paid-off house to a young lady who lost both of her parents. Changed my life forever. And that's what we teach you how to do, how to become an entrepreneur in the insurance industry with PHP Agency in Las Vegas at this convention, August 16th through the 19th. And by the way, the after party, oh my gosh, the after party is at a $70 million house owned by Wayne Newton. Matter of fact, our CEO founder is out there right now. He's doing the final spot checks for our convention here in the next 8-9 weeks at Caesars Palace, and he's visiting Wayne Newton's house right now. Today, as we speak, he just got on the plane. We just got off a conference call this morning, but he's in Las Vegas right now doing all the checks and balances and making sure that when we get there in 8-9 weeks, that we have the most life-changing experience to build a business in this era, to build generational wealth that can impact not only our kids, but our kids' kids. Process issues. It's the number one skill set for you to get where you want to go sooner and faster. You want to make $100,000 this year? You want to make $200,000 this year? You want to make $1 million this year? In the next 12 months, learn the number one skill set, which is processing issues. So therefore, you can get to your business plan and execute your game plan sooner, quicker, and faster, and you're going to be more happy doing it. With that being said, everybody, thanks for tuning in, thanks for sharing, and thanks for subscribing. And until we meet again, continue to live smart, continue to love smart. Oh, by the way, I got to time out. I have to give away these books. So, Kevon, can you come around here real quick? Let's have Kevon, our producer here. Let's go here. So, pick a random winner, right? Pick a random winner here from the live stream. There you go. So, this is Kevon. He's our producer, is also running the Fresh Air Network. So we're gonna pick a winner here. Who do you think is game? Who thinks should get a book? By the way, he doesn't know you guys, so. Oh, Veronica's already got it. She's our preview winner. Yep. Veronica, you seem to be attracting a lot of free stuff lately. Free chocolate, free books. So Nanju Barbosa from Miami. You're getting a book. Who else? I got one more. One more winner.
Let's do it too.
How about Jose? I was thinking about the same. I was looking at the same guy. So Nanju Barbosa and Jose Garcia, you guys are the winners of a book We're going to send you this book. If you already got the book Relentless, if you're already reading it, please bless somebody's life and give it to somebody else that hasn't. Again, congratulations, Nanju Barbosa and Jose Garcia. Please message me your address so I can get you a book. By the way, Nanju, good to see you and your wife this weekend, your baby. Looking forward to seeing much growth in Miami. Debbie Reyes, thank you. Thank you for your comments, and thank you for your, by the way, Debbie Reyes, she runs a law firm called Jurisprudence Law Firm. And what a breath of fresh air they've been to the PHP agency. And her son, Jonathan Reyes, as well as his team, is over here building a business too as well. Just great to be with you guys in business and looking forward to taking your business to the next level. Cool? Awesome. Process issues, number one skill set to master this summer. Till we meet again. Continue to live smart, continue to love smart, and be money smart today. Have a great week. See you next Wednesday, 12:30. God bless you guys.